It has taken us some time to get to this point, but we're really excited.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor!
Good morning, Mr. Scannell. Former Alder Scannell has joined us. Thanks so much for being here. It's just a real privilege for me to be here this morning. It feels like just yesterday we were here for the groundbreaking, and that is there are a lot of good things about tax credit supported projects, but that's one of the best things is it really keeps things moving. And so to have a building like this constructed in such a short period of time is kind of impressive. But thrilled to be able to join you all and cut this ribbon today. I'm not going to take up a ton of your time. I just have a few comments to make, but the first one would be housing is hard.
Amen.
Housing is really, really hard these days. And ironically, it's more important than ever that we continue to develop housing. And so we wouldn't be here with this new housing development without an incredible group of partners. Starts, of course, with Robin Davis at the United Way and her incredible team, who, yes, big round of applause for Robin. Yes. Marissa and Tom and everybody from the developer side who made this possible, really appreciate them. Elmer Moore from WBAY, John Searles from WBAY as well. Again, I mentioned the tax credits involved in this project, but it's much more than that, and it's really hard to describe how heavily invested Elmer and the entire team has been in making this possible. It sort of started on a little bus tour through town, and we pointed out the site to Elmer and John and said, hey, we came up just a little bit short with the scoring, and if there's any way, if somebody else drops out, we could slip in, and somehow made it possible. So really, really grateful to Elmer and everybody at WBAY. Of course, our federal partners, I think Jen Garner is here, right here, with Senator Baldwin's office. As those of you know who've been tracking this project, again, would not be possible without Senator Baldwin and the congressionally directed spending that was sent to the United Way to make the neighborhood house concept possible here at this location. So please thank Tammy for us. We love her and we love everything she's done for this project in particular. In addition to that, we're joined by a representative from the federal government, but of course wanted to recognize the Biden-Harris administration. There's some ARPA funding included in this project. Really the most pro-housing administration we've had in my tenure, certainly, and just really appreciate everything that they've done to move us forward to this point. I mentioned the housing component, but obviously this is about more than housing. This is really about embedding community partners within the neighborhoods that need the support most. That starts with United Way, but obviously doesn't end there. Robin and Rashad and the whole team have been really intentional about creating a space that's going to be a great place to do work with the community, and just really excited for all of that to come together. So every project is different. This one is incredibly unique in terms of the number of partners and how the stars aligned to make it happen. But honestly, as I said earlier, housing is hard, and it requires this kind of collaboration to actually pull it off and to pull off more projects like this in the future. So I am putting out a call to everybody here, everybody in the community who believes, as I do, that we need a bunch more high quality, affordable, for all income levels, housing in just about every neighborhood in the city of Green Bay. It's not going to happen if it's just me at a podium saying stuff, right? Or Elmer going around the state, saying the things that need to be said. It's really going to require a grand coalition of people from all kinds of backgrounds and interest groups in really pulling together to make this possible. So this is a great example of what happens when good people come together with a good project, but we need thousands more of these developments all across the state of Wisconsin. So please join me in trying to make that possible here in Green Bay and across the state. I also wanted to just recognize a few other, there's a ton of people here, which is amazing, so I'm sure I'm going to leave some folks out, but County Executive Troy Streckenbach has joined us. Appreciate all the work that he does for the county and the city. Christina Shelton, state representative, is here. She's an amazing advocate for us down in Madison. Appreciate her presence and work. Alyssa Prophet, who you heard from Alder Scannell earlier in the program. Alyssa is his successor and doing a great job on our Common Council. Will Peters, who is from our Economic Development Department, Community and Economic Development. He and Cheryl Rainier-Wigg, our director, have been intimately involved in this project. Will in particular has been an amazing advocate, so appreciate him being here and all the work that he's done. I know Brian Johnson is here, our City Council President, a very pro-housing voice on our City Council, and appreciate his leadership. Again, I know I'm probably missing folks, but so many have joined because this is an incredibly worthwhile and an amazing project to celebrate. So I'm just incredibly glad that we're all gathered here to cut that ribbon. So with that, I'm going to keep things moving. I'm going to turn the mic over to Robert Gordon, who is the Deputy Assistant to the President for Economic Mobility. Robert.
Good morning, everyone. Huge honor and treat for me to be with you. My parents spent the happiest years of their lives in Wisconsin. My dad was a lifelong Packers fan. I have never made it to Green Bay. I took a jog this morning, and you have a beautiful, beautiful city. And I'm honored to work for President Biden and Vice President Harris. Something you have heard both of them say is that there is nothing Americans can't accomplish when we work together. And I think... yeah, of course, thanks. Something both President Biden and Vice President Harris often say is that there's nothing Americans can't accomplish when we work together. And this beautiful housing and apartments, 43 quality, affordable apartments for families, working families, embedded in a community that's committed to strong jobs, to strong quality health care, good schools. That's what we want for all Americans. And you are building your way on that path, and I'm delighted to be here with you. I want to just talk a little bit about the administration's commitment to housing. The mayor mentioned the incredible support from the community in Green Bay, from the state, and from the administration helping to make this project possible. And we want that for people everywhere. Housing is a huge challenge in the United States right now. Rents are a huge challenge in the United States right now. And three things I want to talk about what we are trying to do about those challenges and working on every single day. The first is expanding supply, and the mayor gave as good a push for building more housing as I've ever heard. Build, build, build is one of the mottos of this administration. Second is making sure renters are treated fairly. You have here protections for affordable housing. It's important that there is in federally backed housing, there should be a renter's bill of rights, and outside federally backed housing, things like protections against abusively raising rent through collusion among landlords, things like protecting against junk fees are critical. And the last thing is that we want pathways for families from rental into home ownership, which is a cornerstone of building wealth and of the American dream. We've done a lot to advance those goals. One of the first things that happened during the pandemic was the American Rescue Plan. This was at a time when we were worried about a wave of evictions because of people losing their jobs. Those evictions would have been a public health crisis. Delivered rental assistance to 9 million households and enacted support for states and localities that help to pay for housing like this. And you have today 60,000 projects across the United States funded by the ARP, by roads and bridges and mass transit projects, clean energy projects, microchip and factory building projects because of legislation passed in the last 4 years. And it is making a difference when it comes to housing supply. Right now, there are 1.7 million units of housing being built in the United States, 1.7 million units, and that is a record level, and it is much higher than the levels in the last administration. So we have a housing gap. You have a housing gap in Green Bay, as the mayor talked about. The way to close that gap is to build more, and we are building. In order to build, part of it is about money. I've talked about money. Part of it is about breaking down barriers. And so we are proud, not in Green Bay, but in Milwaukee. The administration just made a $2 million grant to the city to help to close its own housing gap by breaking down barriers to building housing. We're working to reform permitting so that you don't have red tape that needlessly stands in the way of building. We're working to make public lands available for housing. Obviously, there's lots of public lands that need to be preserved for natural purposes, for natural resources, for federal uses, but not always. And sometimes we can make federal lands available for housing, and we're doing that. And we're working on converting, less of an issue, I think, in Green Bay, but elsewhere, offices that are now empty because of the pandemic, they can be housing too. So there's lots and lots we need to be doing. We are doing as much as we possibly can. I'll just close by saying it's wonderful to see nothing is just about one thing, and this is not just about housing. It is also about community, having the United Way a part of this project, helping to make it happen. And here on the first floor is a great representation of the kind of community support and engagement from the public sector here, you have the private sector, and you have the nonprofit sector coming together to build and to create hope and opportunity for families. So that is what we are all about. It is a huge, huge honor for me to be here with all of you. And I want to turn it over now to Elmer Moore, the head of WBAY.
Good morning, everyone. So Mayor Genrich gave away most of my speaking points, as is so common. I'm just gonna take a bit of a risk, and I'm not gonna contradict what he said, but I'm gonna add some color to it. So he talked about how hard housing is, and it is brutally hard. You know what's harder than that? Supporting a thriving community when people don't have an affordable place to call home. What's harder than that is assuring that people can live the American dream. What's harder is making sure that kids, our future, can realize their potential if they don't have a place to call home. And so we're going to accept that it's hard, but we're going to do it anyway. And I am just so honored to be here. I'm going to tell you a little story because I'm going to ignore my script. This project is the first for me where I got to see every part of it. So I came to WBAY in April of 2022. So I participated in awarding this project. I was here last year for the groundbreaking, and we're here today to officially cut the ribbon and open this building. And so this represents my first experience seeing the entire process start to finish. And even having seen all of that over the last, we'll call it 2 years, what I didn't see is the incredible amounts of hard work put in by the development team, by the city, the mayor and his office, by the chamber, by obviously Robin and her team, and all the other incredible stakeholders that made this moment happen. But as we cut the ribbon, as we go and tour the inside, as we admire the beauty of this formerly vacant lot, we're going to be recognizing that extraordinary work. WBAY was really excited to contribute $6 million in tax credits and offer $7 million in permanent and construction financing. I wish we could have done 10x that if we could get 10 times more projects like this. And we're going to try to do that because we need about 120,000 units across the state. And so I want everyone who did not necessarily have a hand in this building to look at it, ask a lot of questions about how it got done, and then let's do it, I don't know, 70 more times? Do we agree?
Yes.
Good. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you for allowing me to participate. I'm excited to bring Miss Lori Radke to the front, the President and CEO of the Greater Green Bay Chamber.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here representing the Greater Green Bay Chamber. The Chamber and United Way have a long history of working together and partnering. It's at least 40 plus years, but I can tell you with Robin's leadership, the two organizations have been aligned and focused on serving this community, and it's been nothing but joy and pleasure working with Robin and her team. As we heard today and as we see here, the importance and the essentialness of public and private partnerships to make things happen that are transformational for the community. None of us can do something like this alone, and no one's looking for credit. Everyone's looking at making a difference, and we can all agree Brown County United Way is truly a difference maker in Greater Green Bay. I'd like to do a special shout out to Robin Davis and a round of applause. The reason why we're here is it's her leadership, it's her vision, it's her heart, and her authentic care for the community. And I don't know, if you haven't met her, you have to meet her, because everything comes from her heart and her drive for change and care and changing lives for other people. And every time I spend time with her, I'm inspired, I get energy, and I feel like I can take on the world. And I can't do it without Robin and United Way. They're a fantastic partner. And there's so many things that the Chamber tries to do, things that we see are a need, and we couldn't do it without the support of critical partners like Brown County United Way. Robin, you and your team are absolutely amazing. Thank you for all your work and your dedication to our community. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the next guest, Marissa Downs, and she's the principal of MF Housing LLC. Marissa?
I want to make sure you can all hear me. Is this good? Yep. I'm going to say some important things, so I want to make sure you can hear me. Thank you guys all for being here today. I've realized that I need to be more thoughtful with the run of show, because I do not need to go after all of these people who do not even use notes. Did you notice that? No notes. So, and I also felt like when I signed up for this career, no one said that public speaking had to be in the column of like must love to do. So onward. I'm Marissa Downs, a partner in MF Housing Partners, the developer and owner of City East Apartments. A shout out to some of our other development partners who are here with us today, Tom and Jack Klister, Menachem Rappaport with Crown Court, and I think Carla Cross might be here somewhere. If she is, she's also an important part of our project. Also ACC Management, who's our property manager. It has been our great pleasure to collaborate with Robin Davis and the Brown County United Way team on this exciting development. Today is not just about cutting a ribbon, although events like this definitely make a day job more fun. It's about opening the door to new opportunities and possibilities for our community. So a fun fact about me is that I am a mom, and because I'm a mom, I've had a long relationship with a man named Dr. Seuss. And something Dr. Seuss wrote was, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And the reason why we are here today is because a few important people cared a whole awful lot. Mayor Genrich and the City of Green Bay felt that way when they decided to create a request for proposals on this site that they had purchased. And that RFP emphasized a want for housing. And that's incredible. I mean, that's more than we see in many places. To have a parcel that a community has purchased, put out an RFP, and focus on housing. That's incredible. But that is not all that they did for this development. When interest rates went up 300 basis points while we were underwriting this project, the future was not looking all that bright for City East Apartments. We went to the city, we had those hard conversations, and they made other low interest loans and grants available to make this project happen. Without them, there simply wouldn't have been anything to celebrate here today at all. City East Apartments benefits from the Affordable Housing Tax Credit Program that's administered by WBAY. You had the privilege of hearing from Elmer Moore today. WBAY is not only the entity that allocates these credits to workforce housing developments, but they were also our lender and provided additional low-interest loans to help close the financing gap. We needed a lot of loans. And it is because of these resources that we can provide affordable rental opportunities in developments that are of high quality. Because we have all heard the horror stories of some of the housing options that are available to families at an affordable rate. And we think we can do better. And we did. And that's also kudos to EUA, our architect, and Catalyst Construction, our general contractor. Another person who cared an awful lot is Robin Davis and her powerful team at Brown County United Way. City East Center really is here because of Robin. I mean, we'd have some beautiful apartments on Walnut Street, but we wouldn't have the benefit of being anchored to the community. It wouldn't have the ability to provide access to the network that Brown County United Way has cultivated, and it wouldn't be part of an innovative approach where services for the community are in community. I think it takes an awful lot of caring to look at the existing model and come up with a new way to do things. And we are excited to see what can be accomplished here. Because a few people cared a whole awful lot, we were all able to do better. We were able to create 43 new homes, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, to help alleviate the shortage of housing units in our community. Because Robin and her team were committed to being in community to better understand the needs people face, we were able to create space at City East where Brown County United Way could create a permanent home for themselves. And that is a super new model that we're excited about. We found Brown County United Way's goals to be in alignment with our goals at City East Apartments. And here we are showing a new model of co-location that we hope can inspire others. Before I end, I could not close without touching on something that I know many of you here are very familiar with, the ALICE report. For those of you who don't know ALICE, let's spend a second to touch on the hopeful outcomes of affordable workforce housing in our community. For those of you who may not know, ALICE stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. ALICE households earn incomes above the federal poverty level, but below the basic cost of living. These are our friends and families who are working hard and still struggling to find a place to live and support their families. And ALICE families and individuals make up 1 in 3 households in Brown County. And I don't think we really think about that. These are people working hard, working really hard, and still have a hard time just meeting basic needs. It is our hope that by building high quality, affordable housing, we can reduce one stressor in someone's life. By providing a home where an ALICE household can find stability and work on the other demands of life, we will all benefit. So with that, I'd like to introduce Robin Davis. Robin is the president and CEO of Brown County United Way. I know you all know that already. Robin added relocating and creating a new home for her organization to her day job at Brown County United Way and made it seem pretty easy. I just do the extra part that she added to her job as my full-time job, and I feel like it's a lot. So I was inspired by her can-do attitude. Robin, it's been a pleasure working with you on this.
Wow, what a day. I just want to take a moment before I start my remarks to just look around at this group of wonderful community members that have gathered, representing the best part of Green Bay and really the best part of our country, right? I mean, all different shapes, sizes, colors, everything. It's a moment. And, you know, my friends and my tribe have said, don't miss the moment, right? Like, this is a big deal. So I'm just going to take a look. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, everybody, for your kind words. And has already been said, I'm Robin Davis, President and CEO of Brown County United Way. I am honored and privileged to stand before you on behalf of our dedicated staff, our board of directors. I see many of you here, our volunteer councils, our donors, and many, many partners with whom we collaborate every day. Thank you and welcome to this special moment in time and this new era in our 99-year journey as an organization. Yes, thank you. Thank you. We are extremely proud to be the nonprofit partner of this public-private endeavor, which exemplifies our mission to unite people, resources, and ideas to co-create, and we stress that, to co-create community solutions that benefit and strengthen every person in Brown County. As the mayor alluded to, our original vision was for a community house, maybe just like the houses that we see around here. And thanks to the opportunity to submit a congressional spending request to Senator Tammy Baldwin's office, it expanded and accelerated that vision. That request resulted in a $1 million bipartisan federal appropriation in 2022, and we were successful in raising additional funds through grants and individual donors to support the bill. And by the way, no critical funds were diverted from our vital Brown County community of nonprofits as well as other partners in order to bring this vision to pass. And that's a big deal, right? This center, the City East Center, represents a new era in our approach to our strategic investment of time, talent, and organizational resources particularly since 2017. So I see our team there going, yes, it does, right? The focus on individuals and households living beneath or below the ALICE threshold, amplifying the reality that 1 in 3 households struggle to meet their basic needs, connecting with and supporting Brown County residents where they live, work, and gather, and ensuring our future relevance and sustainability. This is the cornerstone of our Thriving Neighborhoods initiative, which allows us to strengthen and support diverse neighborhoods such as Joannes Park, and we are beyond proud to be embedded in Joannes Park as a result of this center. We couldn't be more excited. I saw a couple of folks as they came in this morning to the door, and all I could do was go, ah! Right, so that was a little loud, but I'm sure you could hear me. That a lot of that is the emotion of the moment, and as Marissa said, this space, powered by Brown County United Way, establishes both the permanent home of our talented team of professionals, our first permanent home in the 99-year journey that we have had. And equally, if not more importantly, it establishes a vibrant community hub to serve the residents of Joannes Park. So, yes, we're going to cut the ribbon, but I know you're all wondering, so what's next, Robin? Like, this is great, but what are you actually going to do? I'm glad you asked that question. So, traditional data points, our survey results, community conversations, lived expertise, and most recently, our neighborhood walks reveal that economic mobility, employment security, job skills development, mental well-being support, and child care access are among the top concerns of neighborhood residents. And as a result, today I am pleased to announce that NWTC, for visitors, Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, will serve as our first premier partner with the City East and the Hubcap Initiative to co-create solutions to address the top concerns of our Joannes Park residents. And so I want to thank Dr. Kristen Rainey, Dr. Sarah Lamb, who is on our board, Catherine Rogalski, and Jennifer Platt of NWTC for saying yes, right? We are beyond excited about that. Invitations to collaborate have been shared with our 36 System of Care and Neighborhood Partnership grantees. And then we'll be sharing those invitations to collaborate broadly throughout the community for opportunities to offer programming, services, and resources which not only align with our mission, but also align with the needs and desires of Joannes Park residents. And a little cherry on top, the use of our City East community space will be free of charge to those that accept our invitation and join us. And one of many initiatives that will be birthed here at the City East Center or expanded. Last year we had the opportunity to partner with the AARP Tax Preparation Services, and they offer free tax services and assistance for anybody that comes forth. And we had a very successful one-day pilot project last April where we had the opportunity to serve 20 households and a combined refunds of over $5,000. And so that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was for sure for the 20 households that were able to come and receive those services free of charge. So what are we going to do next? We're going to expand that pilot, and beginning February 1st, running through April 15th, we will offer those same services to the community broadly and particularly to our City East neighbors and Joannes Park residents. And so when you think about what does it mean to you when you get a tax refund, think about what it means to the individuals that we will have the privilege of welcoming. So we're very excited about the future, and I'm going to ask you to indulge me for a few moments because there are a lot of thank yous. And I want to make sure that you heard it from me, right? Who we thanked today. So first, I want to thank our staff, our board of directors, our volunteers, our grantors, and donors for sticking with us. You know, changing direction and doing something different than what you've done for decades is a big thing. And they stuck with us. And when I went to our board and I see our former board chair there in the back and said, "What about if?" And he nodded, and then we were off to the races. And so sticking with us and giving us input and critique and feedback on how to proceed over these last 7 years has been critical. And I just want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for your support and making this vision a reality. Please put your hands together for that group. Again, to Senator Tammy Baldwin, Jennifer Garner, and Congress for including this project in the 2022 federal appropriation. To Mayor Eric Ginrich, Chief of Staff Ahmad Rivera-Wagner, and the entire city of Green Bay, thank you for bringing us to the table. Thank you to Marissa Downs, Tom Clister, and Jack Clister, the principals of MF Housing LLC. We could not have done this without you. So many emails and phone calls and texts. Help! What do we do next? Was just phenomenal. I couldn't think of a better partner. To Carla Cross, who helped us of Cross Management Services, to Elmer Moore, the president and CEO of WBAY, and John Searles, thank you for your support and encouragement. To Charlie Robertson, Kyle Halt, and the entire EUA team, this was their vision. They took what we collectively envisioned and they made it happen. To Catalyst Construction, the general contractor, Dean Stoyer, Jesse Groh, and Tony Sanchez. I don't know where you are here, but Tony is the rock star, right? Let's give it. If you know, you know. To Lori Stasic, Vicki Reedy, and Matthew Wenquist of CJ and Associates. I see you right there in my line of vision. The interior of our space is all due to them taking our vision 2 years ago, right? And we said we wanted a welcoming space, we wanted a vibrant space, we wanted color, we wanted functionality, and they delivered, including that fabulous backsplash in the cafe, my favorite spot. To Marvin Bynum II and his team at Godfrey and Kahn, to Jason Nuss and the team at Heartland Business Systems, to Joannes Park Neighborhood Association for welcoming us and walking with us on this journey, especially Alyssa Prophet, who is the president of the Neighborhood Association, and the District 7 alderperson, yay! And you may have noticed this fantastic sculpture that is to my right and to your left. Kent Hutchinson, the local artist who designed our public art installation, which is entitled Steps. And what it symbolizes is our individual and collective journeys as we climb higher to achieve our goals. So a round of applause for that. And then to all of you, for joining with us today and celebrating with us and collaborating and partnering with us in the future. Thank you so much. And now I would like to welcome the Chamber ambassadors as we cut the ribbon. And so we are going to be walking past the sculpture around the corner to that next section as we cut the ribbon.
Awesome, Robin. Such a great. I'm so glad you thanked everyone. Like, oh, I have to do it.
to need the media to go to the other side of the street. Yeah, in the front. Yes, in the front. And they can make the ribbons go a lot longer.
There's all these TV cameras.
Right, in a second.
Hi, Dr. Bowl. How you doing? Good, I'm good. How's the school doing? Can I sneak in right there?
Where are the scissors?
All right, should we could get the scissors out? We can pose for a picture first. All right, don't cut yet.
On the count of three, after we get pictures. One, two, three.
Everybody back to work. Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you guys. It's a pleasure working with you.
This is my husband, Ryan. Yeah.
Hi, Tony. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
I was the MVP of the round.
Oh. Make sure everything goes smooth. Make sure that
Everyone's happy.
we're there
It's
to
a small thing.
support everything. This is great.